Spain just lit a fuse under Catalonia, its richest region, by Don Quijones from November 3rd, 2017, from Wolf Street website. At this time, that was last week. It's amazing how fast the wheels of the Spanish justice system go around when the establishment wants them to, and how slowly they revolve when it doesn't, which is usually when members of the same establishment, senior politicians and civil servants, bankers, business owners, and even royalty, are in the dock, which is happening with disturbing regularity these days. On Thursday, we saw Spanish justice at its fastest. In the dock was the recently sacked vice president of Catalonia's separatist movement, Oriol Junqueras, and 7 other elected representatives of the breakaway region who stand accused of a litany of charges, including rebellion, which carries a maximum sentence of 30 years imprisonment. The counsel for the defense had less than 24 hours to prepare the case. After just a few hours of hearing preliminary evidence, the National Court judge sent half of Catalonia's suspended government to jail without bail. On Friday, the same judge issued an international arrest warrant for Carles Puigdemont, the disputed Catalan president who fled to Brussels on Monday, as well as 4 other former ministers who did not show up to court on Thursday. Catalonia's separatist politicians are paying a very high price for overplaying their hand. As we warned months ago, many in the Catalan government had hoped that threatening to declare independence unilaterally, or even following through on the threats, which was the kind of thing it did on Friday, might be enough to push the Spanish government into having to compromise. It was a massive bluff, and it's hugely backfired. But while jailing Catalonia's elected government may be justifiable by Spanish law, and will probably go some way to placating the more revanchist elements of the Spanish public, it will also further inflame tensions and polarize divisions within Spain's northeastern region, while doing yet more damage to the tattered image of Spanish democracy in the rest of the world. It also risks exacerbating economic uncertainty and instability in Catalonia, Spain's richest region, just when things appeared to be returning to some semblance of normalcy, as the local people and the region's political parties turned their attention to the regional election scheduled for December 21st. Rajoy, his government, and the judges they help appoint just lit a fuse under the region. Rajoy is the Prime Minister of Spain. In Catalonia today, it's virtually impossible to tell what will happen tomorrow, let alone this time next month or next year. Such acute uncertainty is like sand in the gears of the local economy. Rather than slowing, the exodus of Catalan past companies to the other parts of Spain is actually accelerated in the wake of Madrid's activation of Article 155 of Spain's constitution. It's Catalan-based. On Tuesday alone, an additional 99 companies bid farewell to Catalonia, albeit merely on paper for now. Spain's central bank yesterday warned that the document crisis could, in the worst-case scenario, end up shaving 2.5 percentage points off of Spain's GDP in the next 2 years. That could be very optimistic if a genuine lasting solution is not found to this crisis soon, and preferably one that does not involve the government in Madrid criminalizing a political movement supported by roughly half of the region's population. The greatest tragedy of all, as British-Spanish journalist John Carlin wrote yesterday in the Barcelona daily La Vanguardia, is just how spectacularly unnecessary the current conflict is and how easily it could have all been avoided. First, with the charge of the sacred text of the Spanish Constitution and the approval of an agreed referendum, just as any other modern and democratic state, Canada or United Kingdom, could have done in similar circumstances. But it could have been avoided with even less, with merely conciliatory gestures and respectful words, with the granting of extra powers to the autonomous Catalan region, with a minimum statesmanship, with the desire to think first of the general good. Instead, what we have is a constant escalation of tensions from a government majority ruled by a party, the Popular Party, that is implicated in over 60 major political scandals, more than just about any other governing party in Europe. And yet, even as the party continually falls on the wrong side of the law, the EU holds it up as a defender of the rule of law. Spain's Premier Mariano Rajoy recently has become the first sitting prime minister to appear as a witness in a Spanish court when he gave evidence in a massive corruption case involving the alleged illegal financing of his Popular Party. One of the dozens of companies embroiled in the Popular Party's kickback scandals is Indra, a semi-state-owned tech giant that organizes the vote counting for virtually all of Spain's political elections, including Catalonia. The company is alleged to have paid Rajoy Party 600,000 euros of public funds diverted through a complex network of shell companies. The scandal barely graced the front pages of Spain's newspapers. Now Indra gets to organize the vote counting for Catalonia's do-or-die elections in December. For years, this sort of corruption has consistently ranked as the second biggest cause for concern after unemployment in Spain. Now it's the prospect of Catalan independence that's at the forefront of people's minds. It's the perfect smokescreen for the endless corruption trials of PP politicians, the stagnating wages, the ballooning public debt, the collapsing banks, the shrinking pension pot that the government has systematically plundered to plug some of its own massive fiscal shortfalls. In short, Spain's economy is perhaps not as robust as recent growth figures may suggest. Unemployment, already at 17.1%, surged by 58,000 in October as the number of highly seasonal tourist-dependent jobs began shrinking. Market entry salaries are 14% lower than they were in 2008. Worse still, the economy's recent show of strength was based on three main pillars: consistently low global energy prices, the large-scale diversion of tourists from geopolitical hotspots like Turkey and Egypt, and dirt-cheap public debt resulting from Mario Draghi's massive binge buying of Eurozone sovereign bonds. And all of these pillars are beginning to show signs of strain. As tensions continue to rise in Catalonia, the economic uncertainty digs in for the long haul. Thank you for coming to Plain Mundane Show. Hope you enjoyed this article about the struggle for Catalonia, Catalan independence. It's a shame that those leaders who stood up could go to jail for 30 years. Maybe they could have done it in a more peaceful way, diplomatic and formal. Who knows? I'm not going to judge. Please hit like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I'm Alex Aquarius. Adios.